Avengers vs. Aliens issue 3 has to be one of the bleakest stories in comic book history. It's not Marvel Ruins levels of bleakness, but it could definitely be a runner up. Beware spoilers ahead for the latest issue in the series. So, in the first issue, we learn that after the Xenomorph invasion, Earth is a desolate wasteland. There's only Tony's final city and a burning Krakoa inhabited by Apocalypse, who's living his best life, testing himself constantly against every xenomorph on the planet. And by the end of issue 1, Tony decides they can't stay on the Earth anymore and they'll leave for the stars. Okay, so at least there's some hope, right? Then we get to issue 2 when Tony and the others are blasting off. We see there's some survivors who had been hiding and they're trying to make the blast off, and they're led by none other than Captain America, but it's too late. Tony can't stop the blast off, and Bruce Banner can't stand by and watch Cap die alone. So Bruce hulks out, and Tony has to watch two of his oldest friends make their last stand against the Xenomorphs as the Xenomorphs swarm them. It really hurt losing Cap and Bruce, but we still have Tony and the others, and then the last human city to escape the Earth, so there's still some hope, right? Now let's talk about issue 3. In this issue, we learn that Tony's ship sustained heavy damage in the takeoff. So much damage, they're forced to make a pit stop on Mars to ask the X-Men for help, or they won't be making their trip to the new safe planet. They hail the X-Men and there's no response. So right off the bat, we know something's very wrong. But Tony needs those parts, so they do touch down on Mars, and they find it's a dead world because we quickly learn nearly all life, including the X-Men, have been infected with chest bursters, thanks to Mr. Sinister who betrayed them. We get a glimpse of them strung up in the hive with facehuggers on all of them. Tony, Miles, and Carol have to witness their last hope, the human starship, being overrun by Sinister clones who are blasting the crew with their facehugger guns. They can only watch in horror as seemingly the last hope of humanity is being wiped away. They don't have a chance to help them or even mourn, as Sinister, who's now able to command the Xenomorphs, has them swarm Tony and the others. Before Carol blacks out from acid to the face, she sees Tony swarmed by Xenos. With Miles taking off and promising to help him, she loses sight of them, and when the Xenos are moments away from claiming her, she's rescued by the last of the X-Men, Emma Frost, Wolverine, Armor, and Manifold. They manage to evacuate a grievously injured Carol to safety, but there's no sign of Tony or Miles. When Carol awakens, we see she's deeply scarred, but she's ready to get back on her feet and find Miles and Tony. Wolverine pleads with her to forget about them and to stick with them, but Carol's determined to see things through. She says she stood by once before while others died, and she won't do it again, so Wolverine agrees to go with her. When they arrive, they find Tony's body. He had been infected with a facehugger, and the chestburster had already erupted from his chest. I was honestly shocked to see this because Tony had been the main character of the story and had planned for every outcome. He'd worked so hard and was poised to save what's left of humanity on his starship, only to meet this end lying on the ground like discarded waste. So that panel hit really hard. The story ends on a high note with the Wakandans from the first issue arriving after traveling the vast distances of time and space. But that did little to make me feel any better about this particular issue. So basically, all of the planning to escape the Earth and everyone on board the starship except Carol and maybe Miles, if he's still alive, are gone, either killed by Xenos or incubators for even more Xenos. The other thing I kept thinking is, how do the X-Men keep allowing Sinister anywhere near them? There should seriously be a group of exiles whose sole purpose is to take out every evil Sinister in the multiverse, because that guy has done too much evil stuff to let that stand in any reality. With Earth abandoned to the Xenos, do you think Apocalypse is still fighting the good fight, or do you think he's fallen before the Xenos?